we are discussing that we're going to have a joint refinery in Tanga to benefit all of us, because that refinery is going to take on board the oil from DRC, the oil from Kenya, the oil from South Sudan, the oil from Uganda, and we will just need to build a short pipeline from Tanga to Mombasa, and the finished product will use the pipeline that we already jointly own with Uganda. So all our assets become profitable.
Sasa tupokuwa tunaongea ndani kule, nilimbana Ruto, kaambia umekwenda kutangaza refinery Tanga, mbona mimi sijui? Hasa atasema mwenyewe pale kwa nini katangaza. Mheshimiwa Rais, karibu sana.
Imagine inviting a guest into your house and then they stand up and start announcing plans about your home, plans you've never even heard of or been part of. Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's exactly what happened when Lies.Ruto visited Tanzania and things got awkward real fast. It is only in Kenya where a sitting president can go to another country and announce a project before the president of that country even knows about it. When it When it comes to the reception, I have to admit, Lies.Ruto was received better in Tanzania than he often is received back in his own home. There was love, praise, MPs banging tables, a whole show of approval. Compare that to back here in Kenya.
Even tonight, with the highest honor and privilege, we welcome the President of the Republic of Kenya, Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, His Excellency, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, CGN Wapi Makofi!
Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for His Excellency, the President of the ACC. Makofi kwake tafadhali, ladies and gentlemen. Please put your hands together for His Excellency. Your Excellency, karibu sana. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. And again, congratulations for being the first ever president to be at a Kalanta Award. Ladies and gentlemen, that deserves a round of applause. Your Excellency, with your permission, we'll ask you to sit down as we continue.
Even getting a simple clap can sometimes feel like a struggle. It's clear it's not exactly the people's favorite at home.
Let me begin by expressing my deepest gratitude to Her Excellency, my dear sister, Samiha Suluhu Hassan, for her gracious invitation to undertake this historic state visit to your great and sisterly nation, the United Republic of Tanzania. From the moment of our arrival, we have been received with exceptional warmth and hospitality. I am equally honored to thank the Right Honorable Speaker, Musa Hassan Azan Zungu, and the distinguished members of this august House for the rare privilege of addressing this parliament.
Before the Tanzanian MPs, Lies.Ruto sounded very convincing. So convincing that he almost made us, the citizens of Kenya, look like we're the problem. And in return,
ukimwangalia Lies.Ruto moja kwa moja, ana roho nzuri. Ana upendo. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi nimesikiliza hotuba yake vizuri tangu mwanzo. Waheshimiwa wabunge, alichotaka kutuambia Lies.Ruto, amekuja kwa upendo kwetu. Nikuletee salamu kutoka kwa baba yako anaitwa John Samuel Malechela, ndiye mume wangu. Ameniambia nikusalimie sana, lakini na sisi wanawake wa Tanzania tunaomba ukamsalimie sana Mama Raheli Ruto. Tunampenda sana, tunamtamani sana, na tumesikitika leo hukuja naye, lakini mpelekee salamu zetu. Asante sana.
And in return,
ninaomba nitumie nafasi hii kwanza kabisa kukushukuru wewe kwa kunipa heshima ya kutoa neno la shukrani kwa kaka yetu kipenzi Rais Ruto kutoka Kenya, kipenzi cha wabunge wengi wa Tanzania na kipenzi cha Watanzania wengi. Na nataka nikuhakikishie sisi tutaendelea kukuombea, na ninataka nikuachie neno la Bwana kwa sababu ninajua nawe ni mpako mafuta wa Bwana, ninajua huduma zako katika kazi ya Bwana. Ninataka nikuachie neno la Bwana Rais Ruto. Neno la Mungu linasema katika Zaburi ya 121 mstari wa 7 mpaka wa 8. Na mimi kwa sababu pia ni mpako mafuta, ninakuachia upako Rais Ruto utakaporudi Kenya. Neno la Mungu linasema Bwana atakulinda na mabaya yote. Bwana atakulinda nafsi yako. Bwana atakulinda utokapo na uingiapo, tangu sasa na hata milele. Rais Ruto, Bwana amekupa kibali. Usiogope, sisi wa Tanzania tunajivunia kazi za Daktari Samia Suluhu Hassani. Sisi wa Tanzania tunathamini kazi na mageuzi makubwa rais wetu aliyefanya katika nchi hii, na kwa sababu wewe umechagua kumwamini rais wetu kama dada yako, sisi wabunge wa Tanzania ni nani tusikuombee wewe ushinde uchaguzi wako mwakani. Bwana akubariki, neema ya Mungu ikufunike, malaika wa Bwana wakuatamie. Nenda shujaa Ruto, tutakukumbuka wa Tanzania. Sisi ni damu yako, sisi ni mifupa yako. Bwana akubariki na kutengemaza katika jina la Bwana. Asante Rais Ruto.
He received blessings, praise, even prayers ahead of the 2027 elections. But then, something else stood out. These two presidents share a common history. They both have their citizens' blood on their hands.
Let's look slightly beyond Kenya to the region around Kenya. And perhaps the reason people are worried about the protests in Kenya is because the picture of democracy in East Africa doesn't look particularly good. We have recent elections in Tanzania, your neighbour. The president, Samiha Suluhu Hassan, the winner, declared 97% support. That's like North Korea. Is there still democracy in Tanzania?
It's not for me to judge Tanzania. It is...
Or maybe, just maybe, that's why they needed to hold this kind of conversation.
Leo tulikuwa tunazungumza na Rais Ruto asubuhi. Sio asubuhi, mchana, maana amechelewa naye amekuja mchana. Tukaa tunazungumza jinsi ya kudeal na hawa watoto wetu watovu wa adabu wanaojiita nani hilo jina hao eti na wenyewe wanajifanya ni hao wa East Africa. Kwa hiyo popote wanakwenda kupigania demokrasi. Kwa hiyo wafanye fujo huku, wafanye fujo huku, wachome huku, wadisturb serikali zao. Nikamwambia Ruto, we have to send firm on this, watovu wa adabu hao. Tusichague wa Tanzania au wa Kenya. Wakija kwangu na chapa mikwaju, wakija kwako chapa mikwaju. Ili wakae.
Let's be honest. Is it really about not liking peace, or is it about people demanding accountability? Because from where many Kenyans are standing, these are young people speaking up about governance, about fairness, about their future. And when those voices are dismissed or labeled as troublemakers, it raises serious questions. Are they the problem, or are they reacting to deeper issues that haven't been addressed? That's the conversation we should be having. Now, here's even a bigger problem. How do you go to another country and announce a project, not just before confirmation, but before the president of that country is even aware of it? Because when Samiha Suluhu stood up, she didn't attack. She stays calm, but very clear.
Sasa tupokuwa tunaongea ndani kule, nilimbana Ruto. Kaambia umekwenda kutangaza refinery Tanga, mbona mimi sijui? Asa atasema mwenyewe pale kwa nini katangaza. Mheshimiwa Rais, karibu sana.
But very clear. That's just a polite way of saying this is news to us. Then Ruto responds, and instead of clearing things up, he flips it.
Allow me to explain our discussion on Tanga as a refinery, as a place of refinery. Nimeambiwa ya kwamba tangazo letu kwamba tujenge refinery pale Tanga imewakera kiasi. Lo, ningejua ningetangaza hiyo refinery ijengwe Mombasa. The good people of Tanzania, you are lucky that we are discussing how to build a refinery in Tanga. It is an investment that the government of Kenya is willing to invest. The government of Uganda is willing to invest. You have heard, I'm sure, my good brother Paul Kagame, I'm told, said yesterday they are willing to invest. And many other countries are willing to invest. I hope Tanzania is also willing to invest.
But think about it for a second. You're talking about a multi-billion-dollar project funded by taxpayers across multiple countries, announced in a foreign country without even consulting its president. And somehow they're supposed to be grateful? That raises an even bigger question. If you can build it in Mombasa, why go and announce it in Tanzania first? Back home, Rigathi Gachagua didn't waste time. He called it out for what it was, an embarrassment. And this...
But the embarrassment of the Kenyan nation yesterday in Tanzania is very painful. William Ruto has launched fake projects here in Kenya. He keeps announcing projects that do not exist. The man has become so bold that he is now announcing non-existent projects in a neighboring country. You know, it's so embarrassing to our country that a president from Kenya goes to Tanzania to announce that there will be a project in Tanga for oil refinery when the president of the country is not even aware of such a project. You know, it's a kind of insolence, impunity. You know, he has lied to Kenyans so much that he has no qualms about going to lie to the people of Tanzania. How do you go to a neighboring country to announce a project that is non-existent? And even the president of that country is complaining.
And this isn't the first time.
It is the first time in Kenya we have seen an individual camouflaging as a Tanzanian, a Kenyan, and buying cement companies. Ati ya kwamba sasa simiti ya Kenya ile mlikuwa mnajua yote, majina yake yote, hizo kampuni imenunuliwa na mtu anajifanya ati ni regional investor, lakini huyo ni Mkenya mnaonaga kila siku. That is what politicizing the NSC is. Politicizing NSC ni kununua hizo kampuni za simiti, you politicize them, you come and lie to Kenyans, it's a Tanzanian and it is you.
Ndindi Nyoro has previously made allegations about investments and business interest in Tanzania, including major cement companies. So now, the question becomes, is this really about development or is there something else going on? Because one thing about President Ruto, he's very consistent.
I wish he was exporting good manners I wish he was exporting good manners there of respecting the retired president and respecting democratic institutions. And at least for once, I hope he will tell them the truth, because he's not very famous of telling people the truth. I hope at least when he faces the Tanzanians, he will tell them the truth about anything he would like to tell them, because he's not very famous for telling people the truth, but we wish him well.
By this time, the lies have crossed borders. Announcing projects that don't even exist in front of leaders like Dangote, one of Africa's biggest industrialists, that's not just politics, that's audacity. And as the 2027 general elections draws closer, the sitting president William Ruto may have received blessings from Tanzania MPs. But there's one major thing he seems to be forgetting. The blessings that truly matters is from his own citizens. And right now, that's a blessing is not guaranteed to receive anytime soon. Not after the sins the country has witnessed, not after the tension, not after the bloodshed that played out right outside Parliament. Even as citizens continue to chant one term, Natuko Kadi, one question still remains. If not Ruto, then who? Because removing a leader is one thing, but replacing them with something better, that's the real challenge. And of course, this conversation is not over. Make sure to engage with me in the comment section. Thank you for watching to the end. Make sure to subscribe, to like, to share for all things politics, keeping up with Kenya's political drama.